Unfavorable Semicircle, the YouTube channel from another dimension. In March 2015, a strange YouTube channel called Unfavorable Semicircle quietly appeared. It didn't get much attention at first, but soon, people noticed that the channel was uploading an unusually high number of videos, sometimes hundreds in a single day. The videos were short, most were just 4 to 8 seconds long. There were no clear titles, no descriptions, and no explanations. Many videos were named with a Sagittarius symbol, followed by a string of numbers. Others used single letters or random digits. The content itself was even more confusing. Some clips showed pixelated patterns or a single colored dot against a brown or red background. Others had glitches, random shapes, or screens of static. A few included distorted voices or loud bursts of digital noise. Most were silent. Over time, the channel kept growing. By early 2016, it had uploaded over 100,000 videos. In some periods, it was posting new videos every 15 to 30 seconds. That's when people on Reddit began paying closer attention. A small group of users started tracking the uploads and looking for patterns. They noticed that many videos used similar color tones or repeated numbers. Some people even tried layering the audio and video to see if any hidden message would appear. The channel quickly gained a reputation as one of the strangest things on YouTube. Some users thought it was a modern-day number station, a secret way to send coded messages using the internet. Others believed it was an ARG. A few suspected that it was a test by YouTube itself, used to study how users interact with massive amounts of content. In February 2016, the mystery spread outside of forums when BBC Trending published an article about it. Just hours later, the entire Unfavorable Semicircle channel was removed by YouTube. The official reason was a violation of the platform's spam policies. After that, the channel was gone, with only a few saved videos left behind in fan archives. For years, no one knew who was behind it. The channel had no profile picture, no banner, and no links to any other accounts. But in 2022, someone claiming to be the creator came forward. They said Unfavorable Semicircle was an art project. Their goal was to flood YouTube with more videos than anyone had ever uploaded, and to see how people would react to something completely confusing and meaningless. They said it had nothing to do with codes, puzzles, or secret messages. Even now, Unfavorable Semicircle is remembered as one of the internet's strangest channels. 973 EHT-NAMU, the recursive web labyrinth. Our next mystery isn't a video or a YouTube channel. It's a website, and at first glance, it doesn't look like much. The address is strange, 973 EHT-NAMU973.com. If you read EHT-NAMU backwards, it spells the human. That small detail is the first sign that the site is not random. It's hiding something, and the more you explore, the weirder it gets. The site first appeared in the early 2000s. Most users believed it started around 2003. It had stayed online ever since. The layout is very old school, just black backgrounds, colorful text, and tons of links. There are no flashy graphics, no homepage menu, and no instructions. You just click and fall deeper and deeper into the maze. The main page shows the word abracadabra arranged like a triangle. As you click through, you find hundreds of strange pages. Some lead to religious quotes. Others are filled with numbers, codes, or symbols. Many of them are hard to understand. Some pages even loop back on themselves, making it feel like a digital maze with no exit. Most of the content is built around religion, numbers, and ancient knowledge. You'll find passages from the Bible and Buddhism next to tables of letters and numbers. There's something called a magical alphabet and sections that explain how to turn words into codes using math. The numbers 9, 7, and 3 show up again and again. People who have studied the site believe these numbers have special meaning. Some say 9 stands for strength, 7 for spiritual wisdom, and 3 for darkness of the moon. There's also a forum on the site called the Oracle. Visitors use it to share thoughts or try to solve the mystery. There's no clear goal, no prize, no ending. You just keep going until you're tired or lost. Some pages don't even work anymore, sending users to dead ends. That only adds to the feeling that the site is alive, or that it was never finished. Over the years, people have reacted to 973EHT-NAMU in very different ways. Some call it creepy, some say it's peaceful. Young people who find it by accident often think it's cursed or dangerous. The man behind the site is David Dennison, a writer from the UK. He's in his 80s now and still updates the site regularly. According to people in the forum, Dennison sees a site as a way to share knowledge and encourage new ways of thinking. But even with this explanation, the site still feels confusing. There's no guide, no main idea written clearly. And if you're not familiar with numerology or old religious texts, it's hard to follow. Still, many visitors say that's part of the point. The site challenges you to explore slowly and figure things out on your own. It's less like a puzzle and more like a strange museum that only makes sense if you're patient. Some fans have tried to count how many pages a site has. One person guessed there might be 973 pages, just like the name. No one knows for sure. What is clear is that the site is still alive. In fact, in 2023, the creator posted on the forum saying he was adding to the site this day and every day, weaving the thread of the golden web. So the maze is still growing. Unlike many internet mysteries that disappear, this one hasn't gone anywhere. You can visit it right now. Schnell Online, the mystery of a lost identity. Schnell Online is a name you probably haven't heard before, but for those who have looked into it, it's one of the strangest online stories out there. People call it a ghost MMO that seems to have existed for a short time, then completely disappeared. There's almost no proof it was ever real. No official trailers, no downloads, just a few odd screenshots, scattered posts, and strange memories from people who claim to have played it. The word Schnell means fast in German, and the game's name was written in a glitch style, Schnell Online. According to rumors, it was a small indie game that launched in secret, maybe on the dark web, sometime in 2016 or 2017. Some say it only ran for 6 months before being shut down. The story really got attention in 2018 when someone posted about it on 4chan on the site's paranormal board, X. That post included a single black and white screenshot of what looked like a game lobby. It showed the name Schnell Online, 2 wireframe avatar figures, and a chat box full of mean and disturbing messages. One player was being called a freak by another. The person who made the post said the game had run on TOR, a special kind of private server used to access the dark web, and it had ended on January 30th, 2017. During an event they called the depopulation. After that post, the original user vanished. Even though the post was short, it caught people's attention. Soon, others on Reddit started digging. They found bits of code, old forum discussions, and even an abandoned game project page on itch.io that might have been related. Certain names kept popping up, Olvin W. Saint and Q. No one knew who they were, but they seemed connected to the game's development. Still, nobody could prove who actually made Schnell Online or why. So what was the game actually like? Based on secondhand accounts, it didn't feel like a regular game. The graphics were simple, just black and white, with almost no music or sound. Players described a cold, quiet atmosphere. The chat system seemed to be the only way players interacted, but it was filled with spam, insults, and chaos. Some say the messages felt scripted, as if the game was trying to push players into emotional reactions. Then there was a final moment. According to lore, on January 30th, 2017, a message popped up for everyone online. It said, "The gate is closed. Save logs or be erased." 30 seconds later, the servers went offline. Everyone was disconnected. No one could log back in. The game was gone. That event became known as the depopulation event. It's not clear if it actually happened, but the details stuck in people's minds. Some users even claimed they had found IP addresses from the game that linked back to universities connected to NATO cybersecurity labs. This led to one of the biggest theories that Schnell Online wasn't a real game at all, but a kind of test. The idea is that it may have been a behavioral engineering honeypot, which is a fancy way of saying the game was designed to study people. According to this theory, the game's creepy visuals and toxic chat were part of a setup. Players would join, and the game would track how they responded to stress, isolation, and digital harassment. That data would then be collected and used for research. That theory gained support after someone looked at the game's installer files. One version reportedly added a strange line to the Windows registry, something called QString. Some thought it was a kind of keylogger, a tool that can secretly record what you type. If that's true, then the game might have been spying on players without their knowledge. Another idea is that the black and white design of the game was intentional. There is a psychological trick called the Gansfield effect, where staring at a blank field of color or noise can mess with your brain. Some think Schnell used that idea to create disorientation, making players feel lost or off balance. So what's the truth? Was Schnell Online a creepy art project, a failed experimental MMO, a government test, or just an internet hoax that snowballed into legend? We don't know. Nobody has come forward. The people behind the names like Q, Saint, or Alvin W are still unknown, and there's no working download of the game. A few suspicious files have been passed around online, but they're often flagged as malware and are unsafe to open. Schnell Online is one of the few digital mysteries that might never be solved. Alan Tutorial, the YouTube descent into madness. Our next case is a strange YouTube channel. The channel is called Alan Tutorial, and it started in mid-2011. At first, it didn't seem mysterious. It looked like a quiet, slightly awkward man posting silly how-to videos. His first uploads had names like how to pick up a blue chair off the ground, or how to do a tutorial. The tasks were completely random. He often used unusual items or gave confusing directions. The person in the videos spoke in a flat tone and called his viewers tutorial heads. The setup was basic: poor lighting, low audio quality, and a camera pointed at Alan doing odd things in his room. It all seemed harmless, just a strange but funny guy trying to become internet famous. But as time went on, the channel began to shift. Viewers started noticing things didn't feel right. In one video, there's loud banging at Alan's door, and he looks scared. Soon after, he posts a video from what looks like a small closet. He appears to be trapped inside. From that point, things get worse. Alan's world seems to fall apart over the course of the series. He gets locked out of his house, starts wandering outside, and begins filming in what looks like a wooded area or even a homeless camp. He continues making tutorials, but they become less and less clear. He digs in the dirt, rips up objects, and talks to himself. His appearance becomes messier, and his speech is harder to follow. Eventually, Alan is seen being dragged away by someone. The setting changes again, this time to a dirty, empty room. It looks like he's being kidnapped or imprisoned. There's trash all around, and he seems confused but keeps making videos. In some clips, he's talking to objects, pretending to do the news, or using plastic bottles as props. A strange spinning device sometimes appears in the background. Through all of this, Alan never stops posting tutorials. He still talks to his tutorial heads and thanks his captors for items like water bottles or scraps of food. The content becomes harder to understand, but he seems focused on continuing his channel, no matter what. His behavior grows more frantic and disconnected. The series ends on December 12, 2014, with a final video. In it, Alan finds his strength to break through the wall of his cell. He punches and scratches at the wall until he creates a hole big enough to crawl through. The last shot shows him squeezing through the gap and vanishing. After that, the channel went silent. Some people thought Alan was a real person in danger. On Reddit and other sites, Users asked whether someone should call for help or try to find him, but others guessed it might be a story, a performance. That turned out to be true. The man playing Alan is Alan Resnick, an American comedian and video artist. He created Alan Tutorial as a long-term web series. Resnick is part of an art group known for making surreal and experimental media. The series was scripted from the start, and every stage of Alan's breakdown was planned. The channel is still online today. All the videos are there, though no new ones have been added since 2014. Watching the series in order reveals how carefully it was made. yyyyyyy.info, the Endless Noise Archive. Imagine going to a website that looks like your browser glitched out. That's exactly what happens when you visit yyyyyyy.info. On the surface, it seems like nonsense. You're dropped into a blank white page, and on that page are dozens of floating images, GIFs, random sentences, low-res graphics, and odd diagrams. None of it seems to be connected, and every time you refresh the page, the layout changes completely. New images, new phrases, no instructions, no clear goal, just a wall of digital noise. There's no menu, no real explanation, and no obvious reason for it to exist. Some people call it internet trash. Others say it feels like browsing someone's brain on shuffle. It's like watching a strange slideshow where nothing makes sense, but it's weirdly fascinating. If you scroll to the bottom of the site, you'll sometimes see rotating 3D shapes. At first, they just seem decorative, but some of them are clickable. At one point, they linked to NFT art pages, showing the creator experimented with selling digital items. Users also found that hidden inside the chaos are links that lead to other connected pages, like yyyyy.link, which just shows a slideshow of more strange images. Another address, files.yyy, appears to be storage space for some of the image files. The deeper you go, the more it feels like a whole network of strange digital pages, all loosely tied together. It also isn't silent. On some visits, the site starts playing random sounds, beeps, static, distorted noise. One visitor said they nearly jumped when a loud tone played unexpectedly after clicking an image. For years, no one really knew who made it. Some thought it was malware, others believed it was part of the deep web. But eventually, someone did a domain lookup and found that yyy was registered by a man named Michael Guidetti. That name led to more answers. He's a digital artist who has made other strange projects online. A 2012 post on Rhizome, a digital art website, talks about his work. A 2009 article from Phoenix New Times also described yyyyy.info as an online gallery of experimental net art. In other words, the site is an art project. Guidetti built the site to be endless and constantly changing, like an art installation that lives on the web. Instead of painting or sculpture, he used internet tools to create something that's always moving and never fully understood. He mixes random media, 3D models, strange phrases, and vintage graphics to create what some people call net art, a kind of digital artwork that only exists online. That doesn't mean everyone likes it. Some people still find the site creepy or unsettling. The randomness can feel overwhelming. Others enjoy the unpredictability, clicking through and seeing what strange new layout shows up each time. In a world where most websites are clean and simple, yyy.info feels the exact opposite. Even after more than 10 years online, yyy.info has stayed active. It is definitely one of the strangest websites you'll ever visit. You should have a look. This was 5 internet anomalies that don't follow the usual logic. Did you ever stumble on anything like this yourself? Or did one of these stand out more than the others? Thanks for watching. Let me know which one made you pause. And as always, stay safe and stay curious.